The Time Turner Problem, Prisoner of Azkaban. Honestly, this one drives fans absolutely mental. In Prisoner of Azkaban, Hermione gets handed this magical hourglass necklace that literally lets her travel back in time. And what does she use it for? Attending more classes. Yes, you heard that right. The Wizarding world has actual time travel technology, and they're like, here you go, straight-A student, make sure you don't miss arithmancy. But here's where your brain should be melting right now. If these things exist and they actually work, why didn't anyone use them to stop, I don't know, maybe the most dangerous dark wizard of all time? Think about it. Voldemort's out there murdering Harry's parents, and somewhere in the Ministry of Magic, there's literally a drawer full of time machines. The entire First War could have been prevented. They could have gone back and stopped Tom Riddle when he was still just a creepy kid at the orphanage. They could have saved countless lives during the Battle of Hogwarts. But nope, apparently the only crisis worthy of time travel is Hermione potentially getting a B in divination. J.K. Rowling tried to patch this mess later by saying all the time turners got destroyed in Order of the Phoenix, which is basically the writer's equivalent of "my dog ate my homework." Because that doesn't answer the real question. Why did these ridiculously powerful objects exist in the first place without anyone thinking, hey, maybe we should use these for literally anything important? The whole thing makes the Wizarding world look either incredibly incompetent or just really bad at priorities. And don't even get started on the "you might accidentally kill your past self" excuse, because they trusted a 13-year-old with one. If it's that dangerous, maybe don't hand them out for academic scheduling. The logic just completely breaks down no matter how you look at it. The Invisibility Cloak logic, Deathly Hallows. Now let's get into the Invisibility Cloak drama, because this one's genuinely weird. So Harry's got this cloak that's supposed to be one of the 3 Deathly Hallows, legendary magical artifacts that are basically the most powerful objects in existence. This particular cloak is so good that it supposedly hides you from Death himself. Like the actual Grim Reaper can't find you if you're wearing this thing. That's the whole point of the legend, right? Death gave it to the third brother, and he wore it his whole life until he was ready to die on his own terms. Pretty epic stuff. But then throughout the entire series, Dumbledore just casually spots Harry under it, like he's wearing a bright orange vest, multiple times. He'll be standing there invisible, and Dumbledore's like, "Good evening, Harry." And we're supposed to just accept that? If this cloak can hide you from the embodiment of Death itself, some old dude with a wand shouldn't be able to see through it, no matter how powerful he is. Fans have tried to explain this away by saying maybe Dumbledore used super advanced detection spells or had access to the Marauder's map. But here's the thing, none of that is actually explained in the books. It's just fans doing the heavy lifting to make the story make sense. The whole point of the Deathly Hallows is that they're supposed to be impossibly powerful, but apparently this legendary cloak works about as well as a regular invisibility cloak, which kind of defeats the entire purpose of it being special in the first place. Polyjuice Potion and Voice Problem, Chamber of Secrets. This is where the rules just completely fall apart. In Chamber of Secrets, Harry and Ron brew this nasty potion to turn themselves into Crabbe and Goyle so they can spy on Draco. When they drink it, everything changes. Their faces, their bodies, and yeah, their voices too. Ron sounds like Goyle, Harry sounds like Crabbe. The whole deal works perfectly. Makes sense, right? If you're gonna impersonate someone, you need the voice to match, or you're gonna get caught immediately. Fast forward to Goblet of Fire, and we find out Barty Crouch Jr. has been disguised as Mad-Eye Moody for an entire freaking school year, a whole year. He's teaching classes, hanging out with other professors, having full conversations with Dumbledore, and nobody suspects a thing. But here's what makes zero sense. If Polyjuice changes your voice like it did for Harry and Ron, how did Barty Jr. pull this off? Did he just perfectly mimic Moody's growly voice every single second of every single day for months? Because that's insane. One slip up, one moment where he forgets to do the voice, and the whole thing falls apart. But we're supposed to believe he never messed up once. Not during casual conversation, not when he was surprised, not even when he was sleeping or whatever. The books never address this at all, so which is it? Does Polyjuice change your voice or doesn't it? Because it can't be both. This is just sloppy world building, plain and simple, and it's not like this is some tiny detail either. The entire plot of Goblet of Fire hinges on this disguise working flawlessly. If the voice thing was inconsistent, someone would have noticed. But apparently the rules just change whenever the plot needs them to. The Fidelius Charm confusion. Order of the Phoenix / Prisoner of Azkaban. So the Fidelius Charm is supposed to be this ultra-secure magical protection spell, and it's basically the reason Harry's parents went into hiding in the first place. Here's how it works. You pick a secret keeper, and that person is literally the only one who can reveal your location to anyone else. The secret gets locked inside their soul or whatever, and unless they spill it, you're completely unfindable. James and Lily chose Peter Pettigrew as their secret keeper, and that backstabbing rat sold them out to Voldemort, which is how the Dark Lord found them and murdered them. Tragic, but it makes sense within the rules, right? Except it doesn't, because here's the problem. If only the secret keeper can reveal the location, and Peter was the only one who knew where the Potters were hiding, then how the heck did Dumbledore and Hagrid show up at the destroyed house afterward? Peter didn't tell them. He was too busy framing Sirius and faking his own death, so by the charm's own rules, they shouldn't have been able to find the place at all. And it gets messier. After the charm breaks when Lily dies, apparently other people can just see the house as a ruin. But the whole point is that the location is hidden, so does the charm just evaporate completely once the secret keeper betrays you? What are the actual mechanics here? The books never explain this properly, and it creates this massive logical gap in one of the most important plot points of the entire series. Later we see the same charm used on Grimmauld Place, and those rules seem totally different. People can be brought there and shown the location, but they can't reveal it to others. So which version is correct? The inconsistency makes it impossible to understand how this supposedly foolproof protection actually works. Apparition and the Battle of Hogwarts. Alright, let's talk about the Battle of Hogwarts, because the tactics here make absolutely no sense if you think about it for even 2 seconds. Wizards can apparate, that's their teleportation thing where they just pop from one place to another instantly. Super useful, right? Now Hogwarts normally has protective enchantments that prevent people from apparating directly into the castle, which is smart security. But during the final battle, those protections get broken. The shields come down, the castle's defenses fail, and suddenly there's nothing stopping Voldemort's army from just teleporting straight into the building. So what do? They run across the bridge. Like literally run. On foot. In a dramatic charge that looks amazing on screen but makes zero tactical sense. Why are Death Eaters jogging into battle like they're in some medieval war when they have literal teleportation magic? They could have just apparated directly into the Great Hall or into different corridors throughout the castle, surrounding the defenders from every angle. Instead, they bunch up and march through the front entrance like they're waiting to get picked off. And before you say maybe they couldn't apparate because reasons, the books establish that once those protective charms are down, apparition works fine. People are literally apparating in and out during the battle. So this whole cinematic bridge charge is just Voldemort's army choosing the absolute worst strategy possible because it looked cool. The Elder Wand ownership logic. The Elder Wand is supposed to be the most powerful wand in existence, right? It's unbeatable in a duel, it makes you basically invincible, and it's the prize everyone's fighting over in Deathly Hallows. But the way ownership works is completely broken. So here's what happens. Dumbledore owns the wand, then Draco disarms him on the astronomy tower, so the wand's loyalty transfers to Draco, even though Draco has no idea this is happening. Then later, Harry disarms Draco at Malfoy Manor during a completely unrelated scuffle, and boom! Now Harry's the master of the Elder Wand without ever actually touching it. That's how Harry beats Voldemort in the end, because of this weird chain of disarmaments. But wait, let's back up. Dumbledore's death was planned. He literally asked Snape to kill him. It was a willing sacrifice to save Draco's soul and keep the wand's power from being passed on. Except the wand's loyalty had already transferred to Draco just from being disarmed earlier, so Dumbledore's entire plan failed before Snape even showed up. If the wand changes owners every time someone gets disarmed, then it's not really the ultimate weapon. It's just constantly switching sides. Like some fickle teenager, you could accidentally become master of the Elder Wand by knocking someone's wand out of their hand during Quidditch practice. Rowling tried to explain this afterward, but it just makes the legendary unbeatable wand seem pretty easy to win, which kind of ruins the whole mystique. The whole thing gets even messier when you realize Harry won it without knowing, Draco had it without knowing, and Dumbledore's master plan to end its power completely backfired. For something that's supposed to be this ancient, all-powerful artifact that wizards have killed for throughout history, it sure changes hands more easily than a stolen wallet. The entire legend feels kind of pointless when a simple Expelliarmus in a random fight is all it takes. Harry Potter's got some massive plot holes that even the most dedicated fans can't fully explain away. Rowling tried patching some of them later, but a lot of these issues are just baked into the story. We still love these books anyway. Sometimes magic just doesn't make sense, and that's weirdly part of the charm. Please like and subscribe.